Alright everyone, hello! Welcome back to our 20th anniversary Monster Hunter Countdown. Up next, number 168, Risen Chameleos. Good looking set, again, as expected. They did a good job on the Risen monsters. I feel like this is in a way almost an apology for the Apexes. They're like, don't worry, please forgive us. Following a little bit within the trend of Teostra, it does give us a armor skill, which does help us scale raw weapons just a little bit. It's a skill that kind of synergizes with status. So if you're to be using like pretty much either poison or paralysis, it's called build-up boost. While a monster is afflicted by poison or paralysis, or I guess technically sleep and blast, they take up to 20% extra damage? Up to 20% extra damage, which can be pretty significant. You know, you're stacking that on top of everything else. So just another way to kind of help scale it. Its own wise, kind of what you'd expect with Chameleos. Really weak to fire. Not incredibly weak to raw. Not really at all. Does take good dragon. Got bamboozled by the Kiriniko the other day. Apologies. It does show the blast damage here. It says 100. Off on the side. I don't know if that's true or not. I feel like that number is oftentimes wrong, but I guess we will see. Hard fight. This is not the same type of quest as we did our Risen Teostra. This is going to be... Oh my god, we got stunned. That is so bad. This is like an AR 270. So I will say, with all due respect to Rise and Sunbreak, when you're doing like near max AR quests without fully augmented gear and not necessarily using like, I don't know, min-maxed weapon, it can be a little bit of a challenge. In fact, I had to actually switch around my armor set and skills because my original loadout was just not doing it. I really needed guard. The game really punishes you. At least Chameleos really punishes you if you're not running enough guard. You can very easily just get constantly chipped and pushed back. Which is what you would normally think of Chameleos, but there you go. I will say one thing I always love coming back to when I do play Rise and Sunbreak, though, is the Gunlance. They did a lot of redesigns in Sunbreak. And of course, especially... You know, when you look at things like Surge Slash and just in general what they did to Hunting Horn, I mean, they really redid the weapons a lot, which is why sometimes, like, I'm not a hater. Like, I'm not against, obviously, if Capcom were to ever add a true new weapon, you know, I think that'd be great. I think it would be a very hype moment for everyone. We could all be like, hooray, we got a new weapon. It's completely different. But it doesn't always need to be a quote-unquote new weapon for it to play different. If you were to take, you know, Freedom Unite Greatsword and put it right next to Monster Hunter World's Greatsword, I mean, yeah, they share a lot of moves, but holy crap, do they play differently? You know? It's not always about, like, a new weapon model entirely. There's a lot of people out there in the comments section right now saying, like, how dare you? I will marry the Tonfa someday. It will become my bride. But in any case, what I was talking about with the Gunlance is, it's just like, for the people that want to play a full explosive style, other than Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate with its Valor style, I don't think we've ever had something that allowed you to scale so many things together on the Gunlance. And even with a not particularly min-maxed set, against what is a, you know, I'd say relatively difficult monster, this probably 200,000+ health behemoth, it works out pretty well. It could be better. I mean, especially once you start getting high up there. There's only so many ways you can scale shelling damage. But the amount of moves that you just end up getting that are melee anyways, I think kind of help balance that out a little bit. They did a lot of work, too. I mean, these games in general, like, you kind of wish they had, like, a Dead Cells sort of patch repository where you could go back and try out the different patches, because it's, like, easy to forget what it was like before. Hail Cutter used to be such an expensive move, and is it Earth Splitter? Used to have such a short duration, respectively, that, you know, to play the weapon now, it's like almost completely different. You could very easily combine the two skills. I mean, they were very clearly meant to work well together, but it was always like, okay, you get one buffed Hail Cutter. Now you can really keep, you know, Earth Splitter up for a very long time, and Hail Cutter doesn't really take much resources at all. I think it's like 1 fast cooldown. That's not bad. That could be way worse. I guess ultimately, probably the thing that, and maybe this is an issue because I haven't fully augmented all of my defense away, but one of the things is like, it just doesn't feel like you can die in Rise. Maybe if you did all of the maximum skill augments that took away your defense, the game would feel differently. I found that for my normal RNG, just doing the normal augment roll and not like the minus skill roll was like fine. I just want a slightly better decoration. I don't, you know, I don't need to go harder than that. I do remember when Rise first came out, when Sunbreak and the augments were there, and you had people theory crafting how they thought the system would work, and then they just started cheating it in with what they thought it was, and you had people like with impossible rolls giving like, you know, max attack, max weakness exploit, max crit boost, and being like, well, according to the formula, this is what I have. I don't know. I mean, I guess when it's not a PvP game, it's harder to get mad at people for doing that. But at the same time, it's like, you know, do you want to play with somebody that's cheating? I don't like doing that. But, you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Wilds does it. Maybe people won't feel that's necessary. Okay, Chameleos Rise Gem. Proof of having slain a risen Chameleos. Used for unlocking the Elder Dragon's hidden power. They could have done a little bit better with that. Whatever. All right, so that's it for Risen Chameleos. Up next, Bizarios. We might fight him in Rise. I was working on fighting him in Freedom Unite. Come to find out, his G-Rank armor set is just like a Ruby Bizarios. We already did Ruby Bizarios. So we'll probably do him in Rise. Okay, everyone, thank you again so much for watching. I love you. Goodbye.